All right, I'm all in.
Oh, he says all in. He's going to gamble with his ace
I
jack.
guess I'm committed. I call.
Well, action's going to be on, Corey. He looks down at a monster hand, 2 kings.
Oh, a dream come true. Second best hand in poker before the flop. Stay calm, Corey.
160.
And he's going to move it up to a very inviting 160,000 to go. But right behind him, Daryl Dickin with an ace-3 of hearts, also pretty good.
What he's wondering is the steam factor coming into play here. Remember, Corey just lost the last pot when he doubled up Jonathan. So could he be making a steam raise? Daryl's going to find out. He's made the call here for the 160,000.
Jonathan Little folding. So we got a big hand, pair of kings up against ace-3 here. Nice pot developing.
Here comes the flop. Oh, what a monster flop for Daryl Dickin. He's flopped 2 aces with a straight draw and checks.
The king's just fizzling right there, and Corey smartly checks behind him.
Wow, what a check by
And
Corey
a 3
there.
of clubs makes Daryl 2 pair now, aces and 3s. Corey sickened that an ace appeared on that flop.
Well, action's on Daryl. He's going to lead out in bed here, Vince. 200,000.
Oh, wow.
And Corey throws the 2 kings away without hesitation.
And so confident, shows the hand.
Well, I'm amazed how well he can read both of these guys, Vince. His calls and his laydowns have been spot on here. Over 6 times as many chips as their opponent. Fate could be in her corner, or she can become the first woman to ever capture a WPT title.
Blinds are 60 and 120,000. Action on Ethan Ruby with the button. Looks down at an 8-6 offsuit.
I call.
And he's going to limp in and make the call with it, hoping that she doesn't raise it here.
But the chip leader has a queen 7.
Well, she's got that borderline hand known as the computer hand, because that hand is 50-50 against a random 2-card hand.
Well, she's not going to try to muscle here. We're going to see the flop.
The flop comes 9-7-3. Van Wyn has flopped middle pair.
Yes.
Ethan Ruby has flopped an open-end straight draw, but she goes all in with the 2 sevens.
Oh, boy. He has taken the decision away from him.
Oh, look at this, Vince. He takes the glasses off. He's going into think mode here.
This could be the moment of truth for him right now.
Well, you just hate to put all your money in on a drawing hand, as we say, but still, when you're short stacked, sometimes you have to gamble. Does he want to do it here?
Well, he is behind at this moment. I'm sure he was going to bet it all in if she had checked it, but she beats him to the punch, looking confident over there.
Well, it's one thing to bet your money on a drawing hand. It's another to call it.
He's going to lay it down.
Van Wyn staying aggressive and taking down yet another pot. There you see Min the Master clapping for his wife, and why not?
Now that is a hand we just got to take a look at the Wonder Cam. We must peek. It's a 6 on the turn, making him a pair of 6s. Jack of hearts on the river. He would not have connected.
Right.
This tournament would have been over. Smart laydown by Ethan Ruby.
Play online poker for over $100,000 in cash and prizes every month at clubwpt.com. Sign up today for free using bonus code YT44 and get a free entry into a $5,000 guaranteed tournament.
Right, back to the action. It's going to be on Nanad, former college basketball star, and he's going to fold his hand. Mike Vella going out.
Well, over to the amateur. Mike White on the button. Looks down at a pretty nice hand on the button. King, queen.
Yeah, and he is going to get some chips out.
I raise.
And he is going to raise it.
Well, he's got the button. He's got position. He had people folding before him. He's got a pretty decent hand, and he's going to bump it up to 120,000 to go.
Well, that's the minimum raise. And generally that entices blinds to call you. Nick Schulman is calling here. Tom Dwan looks down there.
Tom with ace-3 also going to call.
Well, Vince, there's 325,000 in there, so Tom is going to call 60,000 more. So here we go, 3-way action.
Here's the first 3 cards. It's a 4-4 deuce.
Oh, nice flop for Nick. He now is out front with 4s and deuces.
But he checks it.
Tom has a gut shot straight draw. 5 would give him a straight, but he also checks.
And now it's on Mike. Will he fire, even though nothing materialized on that flop?
Oh, Vince, he is firing.
Oh, yeah.
And firing pretty good here. He's betting 440,000, more than a pot-sized bet.
But Nick Schulman not going anywhere. He doesn't buy it. He is going to call with the deuces and 4s.
Well, Tom Dwan going out. So here comes the turn card. 4 spades comes off. This gives Nick a full house, 4s full of deuces, and he checks.
Yes, he does. Now let's see if Mike White will slow down at all. Yes, he does. He does slow down. He is checked as well. We're going to the river.
And the river card is, oh, the queen of hearts.
Oh, wow.
Mike White now has the best hand. He's got 4s full of queens. Action's on Nick.
Check it.
Again, he checks.
And Mike White, the construction man, can't believe his luck.
Well, he's reaching for chips here,
Yeah,
Vince.
he sure is.
See how much he's going to bet. There's over 1.2 million in the pot.
Well, he is going to bet 900,000.
Oh, and you see the anguished look on Nick's face right here.
Yeah.
Because all he's thinking about was, did the queen really hit this guy?
He's got that look like he knows he's been out-rivered here.
Well, Vince, you always feel that way. The guy's checked on the turn. All of a sudden, he's going to bet on the river.
Now, this is very frustrating if you're Nick, but he didn't play it aggressively. And right now, I think he can make this lay down. I don't think this amateur would really make this move with the amount of chips he has with absolutely nothing.
What you're saying, if he had an ace high or something like that, he'd just check it down, hope to split the pot, or maybe win the pot.
I think you got to give him credit for something.
You might be right, Vince. He's only got 1.7 million left. He's bet 900,000 here.
Mr. White.
But Nick is going to make the call here. He is going to be sick
Look at the queen.
when he sees how he lost this pot. Nick didn't raise on the flop. He didn't bet on the turn, and now he calls on the river when he probably shouldn't. 3 strikes and you're out, as they say. Mike White taking down this pot.
Yes, and look at his crowd is loving it. His friends and family almost causing a riot here. Absolutely loving this on their feet. All putting up $10,000 each. Who will be crowned our WPT champion? Let's go down to the table. Going to be on Jonathan Little, the 22-year-old who's only been playing poker for a couple of years. He's got a big hand, ace-jack, offsuit with the button.
Well, Vince, he just doubled up the last pot, so he's feeling good right now. So he's going to go ahead and raise it here. Makes it 175,000 to go. Right behind him, Corey looks down at a decent hand himself. He's got king-queen. He's in the small blind, meaning he's got 30,000 out there.
How much you have left?
Cost him another 145 to make the call.
The no-job kid. This is his 4th WPT event and his first cash out.
What's he going to do here with the king-queen?
Decent starting hand in a 3-handed poker game, and he's thinking maybe John's just trying to take this pot because he's in position. How strong do I want to play this?
Iris.
He's going to re-raise.
550 total.
He is coming over the top here with a king-queen.
Daryl Dickin quickly folding, and now it's back on Mr. Little.
It's another 375 to Jonathan. Well, these two guys have clashed in some humongous pots so far.
Why so much? Just like a push? Is that what you're doing?
Corey has read him perfectly almost every occasion so far. Jonathan suspecting a little larceny here. It's amazing how well these guys read each other.
All right, I'm all in.
Oh, he says all in. He's going to gamble with his
I
ace-jack.
guess I'm committed. I call.
Corey says, I'm pot committed. I got to call you. Not crazy about it, but what can I do?
Well, nobody seems to be folding against these two.
So here we go. Jonathan Little all in for the 2nd consecutive pot. He won the last one against Daryl. He must win this one against Corey to stay alive. Right now, he's out front, about a 3-2 favorite.
But if things should work out for the Canadian, that would be it for Jonathan Little, and we would be down to a heads-up play for that million. He'd love to knock this Jonathan Little out of this event. Can he do it? Here's the flop.
Well, flop is 10-8-5 with 2 clubs. That's no help to either player. So right now, Jonathan Little still well out front with the ace-jack.
2 more cards to come. Here comes 4th Street. It's another 5.
Well, we are down to the river card. And for Corey Carroll to win this pot, he's going to have to catch a king or a queen on the river. Otherwise, Jonathan Little will double up for the 2nd consecutive hand.
Can he spike the long shot and knock out Mr. Little?
Well, it's a deuce of clubs. So Corey sits back down. Jonathan Little has doubled up again. And Vince, he threw a left cross over there a minute ago to Daryl Dickin, doubled up through him, and now he throws a right powerhouse to knock Corey Carroll down.
That's right, and take home a close to $3 million pot. Jonathan Little looking good once again. It's going to be on Van Wyn, potential first lady ever to win a title on the World Poker Tour. She is so close, out in front with 1.8 million in chips.
Well, here she looks down at the queen deuce of spade. Opts to fold this hand.
Ethan Ruby looks down at a king 3 in the small blind.
Now that's a favored hand over a 2-card random hand.
I call.
And he's just going to call it.
Well, he's going to limp in and make the call. And Billy looks down at a king deuce.
I call.
And he says, okay, let's give us a flop.
Okay, he's going to change it up. Early on, he was just pushing pots. This time, content to see the flop.
Oh, it's come king, queen, 9 with 2 spades. Both players a flop top pair. Ethan checks. And man, it's unlikely you're going to put the guy on a top pair because neither raised before the flop. Potential flush and potential straight out there. Billy with his top pair, he's going to make a wager here.
I'm all in.
Call.
He has gone all in, and a quick call by Ethan Ruby.
Well, both players have top pair. Now, even though Ethan has the best hand right now with a king 3, virtually it's an even horse race as to who's going to win this pot. If one catches a 3, he'll probably win it. If the other catches a 2, he'll probably win it.
Split it.
But in truth, it's probably going to be a split pot.
At least no one has a spade. At
As
least no
Ethan
one has a
says,
spade.
neither player has a spade. You can't make a flush. Whoever wins this pot's going to have to catch a 3 or a 2. Otherwise, it'll be a split pot.
But the way the night's going, who knows?
Oh, a deuce comes off.
Oh, no.
Billy Baxter finally getting some luck at this final table. Has outdrawn his opponent on the turn. He has taken the lead with kings and deuces. For Ethan to win this pot, he's going to have to catch a 3. He can tie it if a queen or a 9 comes off.
Devastated. Ethan Ruby shaking his head.
Sorry. Poker happens.
Complete momentum turnaround. River card coming up.
Well, the 5 of diamonds comes off. So Billy Baxter finally getting some luck at this final table. Outdrawing Ethan on the turn to take down this pot. As he doubles up here, Ethan Ruby, you got to feel his pain, Vince. You don't expect to win when a guy's got kings and you've got a 3 and a deuce. But you do expect to get a split pot out of it and get your money back. A couple years ago, Gus voted one of the top 50 sexiest men in the world. Poker community was happy about that.
Okay, well, it's going to be on that sexy beast, Gus, right now. And he's got an ace-9 offsuit.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be plenty good enough for Gus. Let's see what he's going to do with it. Gus, a very calculating player. That comes from his backgammon career. One of the world's best backgammon players, of course.
Looks like he's been growing out his hair the last couple of years, too. It's the first time we saw him.
Gus is going to raise it here. Makes it 54,000 to go.
Ludovic out. Marcus Lehman now with the button. Made a nice little steal there on the last hand. This time he has a 9-10 offsuit. He goes away.
Over to Krister. He quickly throws his hand away as well.
Only one to beat is Steve Sung, Gus's old nemesis here, in the big blind with a 4 deuce of clubs, already slightly invested.
Well, he's out of position, as we say, meaning he's going to have to act before Gus the rest of the way if you really want to get involved with a 4 deuce.
Well, you're trying to knock off the big whale. You know, you go up against Gus Hansen, it's bragging rights. You knocked him out, you played well against him, you got a little wink from the sexy beast. And when you're 22 years old, that's what you go after.
Realizes every decision a critical one, especially when you're up against a chip leader like he is right now. But he's going to make the call here. So Steve Sung displaying the fact he's not afraid to play pots with Gus. See how he comes out here. Well, flop comes ace, 5 deuce. Steve has flopped bottom pair with a gut shot straight draw. He's going to check it. Gus has 2 aces. Gus with the best hand.
Now let's go back to a few hands ago. Gus with ace-king, flop top pair, and he bet it. Does he want to mix up his play? This time he does. He decides, hey, I'm not going to chase the guy away. I like my hand. I'm going to try to trap.
Well, a 5 comes off, so Gus still out in front with aces and 5s. But as the cards lie, Steve is going to have to catch a deuce or a 3 to win this pot.
Oh, boy. You know, he's starting to swim to the deep end of the pool here. Getting in deeper and deeper. Getting chips out.
Well, Vince, with Gus checking on the flop, he may think Gus has got something like Queen Jack or Jack 10, 7, 8. He's going to take a stab at this pot, thinking perhaps his 2 deuces are the best hand. He bets 40,000.
Yes, he does. Now, Gus Hansen looking back at his hand. Usually the sign of weakness, but of course we know he's pretty darn strong here.
Well over 120,000 in the pot. the bet only 40,000. Now Gus is trying to figure out why would he bet this small amount unless he really wanted to be in there. Could he really made 3 5s? Does he have me beat? Does he have ace with a bigger kicker? Gus just opting to call here on the turn. And the 3 of spade comes off. Steve Sung has made a straight. He now has the best hand. He had to catch a deuce or a 3 to have the best hand. He's done it.
Just creepy. Oh, that is just a sick river card.
Well, now let's see what he's going to bet. How much more can he get out of Gus? Well, this is truly bad luck for Gus, but by not betting on the flop, did he create his own bad luck? That's the question.
Not raising on the turn, too.
Yes, there's a possible full house out there. But if you make a straight on the river here, I would think you'd want to try to get a value bet in somewhere. And Steve doing just that. He's betting 80,000. Well, Gus still has the 2 aces.
Yeah.
You're just not going to put your opponent on deuces and 3s and 4s in this situation because he called a raise before the flop.
That's an automatic call, and Gus is going to call it. Let's watch him wince.
Well, he is going to wince when he sees this guy caught a straight on the river here.
There it is. And there's the vomit control.
Well, when Gus honestly evaluates this hand, he's going to recognize he could have bet on the flop. He might have won it. He could have raised on the turn. Probably would have won it. Instead, he pays off another bet on the river to lose more money with it.
Well, it goes to show you, even the great Gus Hansen can be out of sync.
Not for too long.
Play online poker for over $100,000 in cash and prizes every month at clubwpt.com. Sign up today for free using bonus code YT44 and get a free entry into a $5,000 guaranteed tournament.
He's got over $1.5 million in chips.
I'll take my time, get some TV time.
Here he looks down at the ace-5 of hearts.
Well, he's got the button, the best position in poker. You get to act last throughout the hand. It's a huge advantage in Texas Hold'em.
Well, he's going to raise it. Makes it 200,000 to go.
Mike Vella going out. Only one to beat is going to be Mark Weitzman. Very tough pro who we've seen at the final table on the WPT before. He's got ace-3.
Mark Weitzman, a long-time high-stakes professional player. Been a pro for 21 years. And he's played in a lot of big games in his day, Vince. He's faced with a tough decision here. He's got an ace-3 offsuit. He's on the short stack at this final table now.
Wow, he's going over the top all in.
Well, Vince, I think a lot of his decision-making had to do with who he's up against here. He understands Nenad's a top pro, that he makes position raises on the button, that he might not have as good a hand as an ace-high, and even if he's got an ace-high, maybe he'll get away from it if it has a weak kicker. That's exactly the scenario. Nenad has got an ace-5.
635.
This is going to be a tough call for Nenad to make because he just won all those chips in the previous pot to get back in the hunt. Now he'd be giving them back if he played this pot and lost it. But
this time,
the pot's got about 1.1 million in it. It's going to cost Nenad slightly over 600,000 to make the call. So he's getting just under 2-to-1 odds in this situation. And anytime you have an ace in your hand, when you're getting over 2-to-1 odds, you're supposed to make the call.
Well, forget about all that. Do you feel lucky, punk, or not?
Well, perhaps that's what it's going to come down to.
this is probably an easier decision than I make it.
I want to see his hand. I'm curious.
Yeah, Tom Swan is saying, I'm curious.
You're probably going to get to see it.
Players that are not in the hand should just keep their mouths shut when referring to the hand at play. That's not a thing you want to do. You don't want to coerce, and all of a sudden Nenad decides he's going to call it. Interesting table talk going on there.
Well, I don't think he had any influence on Nenad's decision
you know what,
there.
though? You shouldn't say a word. When two guys are in the pot, I really object to another player saying anything to coerce. It just shouldn't happen at the
I would
poker
agree
table.
with that. The kid's 21, Vince. He's got to learn.
All right.
Usually a chop pot.
Nenad is out front, but most of the time, this is going to be a split pot when two players have an ace with a baby kicker because 4 cards figure to come up higher than a 6.
Milena, Nenad's girlfriend, on the sidelines, and they are rooting the big man on. Will his hand hold up? Can he knock out the first victim here at Foxwoods? 5 cards to come. Here's the flop.
9-7 deuce.
It's a great flop for you.
So far, Nenad still out in front with the ace-5. Of course, any 2 cards over a 6, this would be a split pot unless they were hearts.
8 of hearts is not bad.
Here comes the turn card, Jack of hearts.
Well, this gives Nanad a flush draw. The only way Nanad can lose this pot is if a 3 comes up. If any card over a 6 comes up, that's not a heart, it will be a split pot. Or if a deuce comes up.
Here's the river card.
It is a deuce of hearts. Nanad Medic has made an ace-high flush. And the longtime pro out of Las Vegas, Mark Weitzman, is going to finish in 6th place.
Well, he gets a big ovation. Mark Weitzman, originally out of Tel Aviv, now living in Vegas. The math genius has to say goodnight.
Doesn't raise with the hand.
And Daryl Dickin with a 5-3 of diamonds. Not going to raise. Content to see a flop. Here we go. Look at this. Corey with top pair of kings. But Daryl Dickin has an open-ended straight draw.
Well, action's on Corey. Well, he is going to lead out and bet the 2 kings, it looks like, Vince.
I'm all in. I call.
Well, he's going to bet 100,000, and Daryl quickly goes all in, and without hesitation, Corey calls him with the 2 kings. He has the best hand. He's up on his feet again, arms crossed, just hoping the kings stand up.
Great instinct by the Canadian, quickly calling the all-in bet. And just like that, Daryl Dickin caught picking.
Well, Vince, I like the all-in bet by Daryl Dickin here. Hard to assume your opponent's got a king in his hand when he didn't raise pre-flop. Daryl has the open-end straight draw. He's looking for an ace or a 6. But the 9 of diamonds comes on the turn. We are down to the river, and Daryl Dickin must catch an ace or a 6. He must make a straight to stay alive in this tournament.
Well, it would be back to online poker for the online star. It is all coming down to the river. Here it is.
Well, it's a 7 of clubs. And that's going to do it for Daryl Dickin.
Well, early on, it seemed like Daryl had all the momentum, and he was on track to win this thing. He's won some big bucks. Get a 3-course meal on me, Daryl. You deserve it.
Terrific player. Just couldn't quite get it done tonight. Right now, it's the Van Wyn show. She is dabbing it right now, Vince. Just made a move there with a 5 high. She's caught her share of cards, more than her share, in fact.
Ethan Ruby now. Day trader from New York. He's got a queen 8 this time with the button. Is this the time to move? No, he folds it.
Now round to Billy Baxter here. He's on the short stack at this final table. He's going all in here with a 9-4 offsuit.
Boy, oh boy.
A daring play by Billy, and I say that because his opponent's a big chip leader on a roll, has 120,000 invested. Now, Vince, she's getting about 2-to-1 odds on her money here. Now, she only has a Jack-7 offsuit, but still getting this kind of price and having this kind of chip lead. Aren't you almost pot committed?
She's trying to figure that out right now, calibrating the odds.
330. I call.
And she does make the right decision. She's called it.
Not what Billy wanted to hear. And is she going to be shocked to discover that she has way the best hand here?
She better have a good hand if she beats this one.
Billy joking he's got a hand here. It's a hand looks like a foot. Billy made a bobble here. I know he thinks he's got to gamble because he's short stacked, but he's got to figure she's pot committed to play with any 2 cards, and she figures to have a better hand than a 9-4 offsuit.
Mommy Poker comes out with a big smile.
Good luck.
She's won a lot of pots lately, on a roll, as we say, feeling good.
So close to eliminating a great Billy Baxter with 5 cards to come.
Here comes a flop. Well, it's queen 6 deuce. That's no help to either player.
But the jack high, of course, of Van Wyn is still out in front.
Billy's going to have to catch a 9 or a 4 to take the lead, or 2 running cards to make a straight. Otherwise, he'll be our 3rd place finisher. Well, an ace comes off on the turn, so we are down to the river card. Billy must catch a 9 or a 4, or it's back to Vegas for him.
Any paint.
We are going down to the river at the WPT Invitational.
Well, it's a jack.
Yeah.
Van Wyn has made 2 jacks. She's going to take down this pot. She takes out the legendary Billy Baxter.
And the crowd just exploding with excitement.